This is the green mixtape. This is my speedrun marathon submission for Hey You Pikachu for the Nintendo 64. So, fire it up. Okay, so timing starts right here. I'm going to go ahead and count it down. In 3, 2, 1, go! Alright. So this is Hey You Pikachu. It's a game that, one of the first games that involved the microphone in a Nintendo game. And, this was early, development in Nintendo where they were, utilizing the mic. Pete. So I need to say something very quickly and pop the bubble to Pikachu a few times here. Ka. Chew. So you can hold the Z button during all of this to make sure you get that microphone immediately turned on. P. Ka. Chew. Pikachu. So there I just had to say three things each time, and while Pikachu's doing an animation or something like that, in some cases the bubble will pop off of his head and it won't register, so you have to know when the correct time is to release the bubble so that Pikachu will basically listen to what you're saying. It's pretty finicky because of the microphone, situation, but it definitely works. A lot of people, complain about, being a very difficult, system speaking to Pikachu, but I mean it works, and it works pretty well. You just need to know how to use it. It does have its issues, but after playing the game for a while. Pikachu. Pikachu. Yeah, so there he didn't register me saying Pikachu. In certain situations you have to say specific phrases, and then other spots in the game it does not matter what you say to Pikachu. Good morning. There I had to greet him with either hello or good morning or something like that. The first one you need to call his name to wake him up, and then all the way, like all these, you could say whatever you want. You can say yo, hey, what's up. Throw it. There, if you tell him to throw it, he throws it directly forward. P. Pika. P. P. I mean, the idea is as soon as you notice that sound has been recognized in the bubble, what's up? You want to release it. So I'm instantly, as soon as I'm seeing the voice pop into the bubble, I'm releasing the Z button. So I'm not pushing the Z button for a very long time. You want to release those bubbles as soon as possible. Whoa, whoa. And depending on what you say, you'll get different animations in specific areas too. What's up? What's up? Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, so right there. Goodbye. He didn't register that goodbye properly. You have to say it in a way that the VRU system, the voice recognition unit, picks it up. Rolling out. And then when he did that spinning around animation, I'm not able to interact with Pikachu until that bubble. until his animation's over. So that whole spinning thing, if I say something, it'll just keep popping off his head. That's an example of what'll happen if you're not releasing it at the right time. Okay, so the first two splits are pretty straightforward, and then we get into the picnic here, and the picnic is where a lot of people who, either played the game casually or try to speedrun it. Rolling deep. They have a lot of issues here getting Pikachu to do what they want, and this is, that first instance where it's not just like, say whatever. You have to direct Pikachu pretty precisely. I mean, the game, you think, oh, it's it's not that hard. You just got a microphone, and all you gotta do is talk to Pikachu. But I mean, you gotta be pretty precise about when you're, saying something to Pikachu and how you say. Like, if I pull the Magnemite off of Pikachu before he gives the Magnemite, he won't give it to him, for example. And sometimes when you say specific fruits or vegetables or whatever, so like if I say onion, sometimes I'll pick up a potato or something, or like it's kind of finicky in that sense. Most of the time, you won't have an issue, but sometimes it just depending, like if you're like right next to a few items and you say something, he might go to something that you don't want him to go to, and specific things here that you pick up, you can't send to Magnemite. You need 4 ingredients. So this is where it gets kind of a bit technical. The first 2 splits are just kind of like, okay, figure out how to use the mic, and I mean, the game is pretty, it's like one big tutorial until about, 40-50 minutes in, so it's just adding on a bunch of new stuff as it goes along. Pikachu. Pumpkin. Okay. Sure. And so there's Insta Magnemite calls, and then there's not. So sometimes you have to engage him before he calls Magnemite. That was an Insta Pikachu. And as soon as he gets off that item, you want to call him over the next thing. Wild Herb. So right here, like that mushroom is right there. I do not want to pick that up. Sure. That was an Insta. So I would say it takes about like 7 or 8 seconds to get those, so it's a big deal. Pikachu, and it's strictly RNG dependent. Pumpkin. Okay. Sure. So that was not an Insta, so I have to say sure a couple times. Sure. Pikachu. Carrot. Sure. That was not an Insta as well. Sure. But yeah, this is the hottest speed talk, of all, there is, like, you got all these other speed runs, but, we're doing a speed talk here, so. And this is definitely one of the more obscure Pokemon games that were out there. I mean, there's been a lot of like spin-off Pokemon games that exist, but this is one of the earlier ones, and it was one of the more wild spin-off games. Like you have like like Pokemon Pinball and stuff like that. You've got like I mean, there was just so many different like weird Pokemon games that were coming out, and this was definitely one of them. And yeah, Electric Rat. It's also very hard to commentate a run of this while running it, because you have to speak to Pikachu at specific times and say specific things. There, by saying Electric Rat, I save 5 seconds over saying goodbye. So coming up here is a side scroller. This would be the perfect time for donation readings or you know, just messing around. Pika. So basically, you know, the game runs on a in-game timer here for this segment. So right after that text box, basically we are in an auto scroller, and this day doesn't end until a specific time. And you want to watch out, because it will always end consistently, or it'll be time to end the day consistently. But the problem is, if Pikachu is in an incorrect action that will not end the day, he'll have to follow through that action. So, in a specific case here, you want Pikachu to not be performing any actions. Like if he's walking around like that, that's fine. But if he's saying hello to Charmander, if he's sleeping, if he's eating strawberry, any of those things, the day's not going to end when it is supposed to. And you know, we have I have a cue on the segment timer that I look at, and it'll always end. It'll be time to end the day at that specific time, but the problem is it's kind of hard to get Pikachu, you know, to do specific things like that in this game. Like here, you know, I can't control that he's falling asleep with the strawberry right now, so it doesn't matter right now because the in-game timer is still running regardless, and I'm just waiting for that specific time so that I can try to distract Pikachu from performing an action that won't end the day. At worst, I mean, you might lose like 10 seconds here, like 15 seconds. I would say like 15 seconds is the max amount of time you could lose. So it's not a huge deal, but it's just little subtle things that are like that throughout the course of the run. So right here, I mean, you can mess around with Pikachu. You can say, Pikachu! Raspberry! Eat it! And there's also, you know, if you look at the bottom left of the screen, there's a heart meter and there's also an electric meter. They kind of switch back and forth. The heart meter, you know, is Pikachu's mood. If that gets really low, he will completely ignore you and just kind of do his own thing. And if the electric meter is not like all the way empty, if you tell him to Thunderbolt or Thundershock or something like that, he's not going to have, you know, electric power. So it's kind of another little subtle thing. The heart meter really doesn't, like, unless you're completely you know, trying to get Pikachu angry or make him mad. Like if you're calling him names or something, or like doing things that are gonna decrease his meter. Throw it. Here I can make him throw it or drop it or eat it. Throwing it's going to get rid of that item immediately. In specific spots I'm going to want to do that. He might get distracted here by something I don't want him to. It's oddish here. It's a strange radish. I don't know, it's just okay. So now he's performing an action while the day is supposed to end, so I have to wait for him to look at me. Should be right now. So that wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. Electric Rat. Like, it can be a lot worse if he gets distracted by Charmander, like, right when the day is supposed to end, and boom, there's like, what, 12 seconds? So this is Viridian. Once again, it's another basic Leonardo stroller. Pika. You do have to feed the 2 hungry Caterpies that are going to come up. And there's a whole thing about that. So, I mean, there's a few situations where, like, if you're on a slope, if the Caterpie's on a slope, or something like that, and Pikachu, like, puts it, like, in the middle of the slope, and it's kind of in this, like, glitchy state. Like, he'll drop a Rosebud, right, and it'll be possibly, like, you know, like, right in the middle of this ledge, and the Caterpie can't get it. That'll be, like, one of the situations where you know, you get bad RNG, and you get really unlucky, and if you don't feed the 2 Caterpies, you end up getting a balloon instead of a gem. And the premise of this game is you need 20,100 Poké-Dollars at the end of the game to finish the game to buy the telescope. So there's a money route that's involved, and here the gem gives you 5,000 Poké-Dollars. If you don't get it, you get nothing, so you have to make up 5,000 Poké-Dollars, which is a lot. So, you know, if it were to happen where you don't feed, because the Caterpies turn blue here. When they turn blue, they get hungry, and if they're gonna turn red, and when the days, you know, when it's time to end the day, Butterfree will come by, and if there's a hungry Caterpie, Thunderbolt, you will not get the gem. So here I kind of try to avoid that Thunderbolt. I kind of try to, like, get a little bit of lag reduction by looking away from the Thunderbolt, because in some situations the Thunder in this game is pretty laggy. So there he handed that Rosebud to that Caterpie. So I have 1 Caterpie fed. I need to feed the other one that gets hungry. In some situations, one of the non-hungry Caterpies will come up and they'll steal that Rosebud from the hungry Caterpie. Now, it can be good if you still feed the hungry cat. You can't leave any of the hungry Caterpies at the end, or else you're not going to get the gem. But you can feed up to 4 Caterpies potentially, and it transfers on to Viridian 2, which is the next segment, and that's the segment where you need to feed all the Caterpies into Metapods, and it transfers from this day to that day later in the run. So altogether, it's 3 Rosebuds for each Caterpie. So it's like, you'll need, I mean, at the end, if you just feed the 2 Caterpies, you'll need 18 Rosebuds, but if you feed 3, or if you feed 4, if you feed 3, you only need 17, if you feed 4, you'll need 16 Rosebuds on that level. So it can be beneficial, Thunderbolt to feed a non-hungry Caterpie. Thunderbolt, but it's also scary in a situation where if you can't feed the hungry Caterpie at the end, you'll have to, either do a backup strat to get money, which it does exist, and it's really rare that it does happen, so I'm not really worried about it for a marathon run, but there is a backup just in case. But most cases, Pikachu, if that happens in an RTA, you're going to be resetting. So now if it fed the 200 Caterpies, now I'm just waiting for the day to end. And Butterfree to come back. So at this point, it really doesn't matter. As long as Pikachu is not doing something like jumping around that is going to cause the day not to end, because it, you know, if he's in a specific animation, the day will not end. Like if he sleeps here for whatever reason, sleeping is always like it's going to postpone the day to end. And there's special cases on different levels that come up where, you know, you actually want to have Pikachu with the two sidebars on the side, which is not the case in most situations, but it is for a specific level. Which, I mean, it's kind of it kind of just goes, you know, by what level you're on and what you need to do. So now that we've gotten past that, Electric Rat. We're coming up on an RNG segment, which involves fishing. Now, this is another section where I need to catch 6 fish, bottom line. If I cannot catch the 6 fish, I'm going to have to do exactly what I just said. I'm going to have to make up for it. It's another... You receive the fishing flag for catching 6 fish here, and that gives you 5,000 Poké Dollars. And if you... Hold up. Pika. There's situations where Bulbasaur will distract Pikachu to where he won't do anything, and there's another situation where he'll walk. Pikachu will walk towards you and open up the toolbox. We don't want that. So here, Bulbasaur didn't spawn. That's typically a good sign because that's one less distraction. Now you want to say reel it in when Pikachu's red, but you also, if the fish, reel it in, is too far away and you say reel it in, you're going to fail to catch it. If you fail to catch a fish, you're in trouble. You can mess up once and make it back up again, but again, we're on a in-game timer and you're probably going to exceed that in-game timer where the day is supposed to end. It usually, reel it in. Reel it in. It usually costs about 15 to 25 seconds to have to make up for a fish. So you usually just catch 6 fish right on the dot. Reel it in. So here I've got 3. It's going very smoothly. This game's fishing is definitely better than Ocarina of Time fishing, so it definitely has that going for it. Reel it in. So that's number 4. We need 2 more. And on the final fish, I want to catch it at a specific time. If I catch it too early, then I'll have to end up catching 7 fish, which is slow. I want to catch exactly 6. Reel it in. So here I'm just kind of being patient because that Goldeen would have went the other way and tried to fight Pikachu there on catching it. It could have been a, you know, failure to catch it. So we don't want that. Reel it in. Okay. Alright, that was too early, so I should have looked at the segment timer. We did get our 6 fish. That's the most important thing. Here, like I said, it was too early, so I'm probably going to end up going after another fish here. I can try to let it go. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Oh, no, okay. That worked out somehow. Electric Rat. So I actually ended the day like sooner than I usually do because I usually play that safe to make sure I don't get the 7th fish. But I caught exactly 6. That was really fast. That was really good, actually. And now's when we start to be able to free roam. The first 25 minutes of the game, you were locked in on Pikachu Cam, which means you're forced to look at Pikachu. Like your camera is zoned in on Pikachu, and you can't look at anything else. You can't you can't move the camera in the way that you want to. Here is where you start to be able to move the camera with the C buttons, and it starts to get interesting. And here we're going to end up playing a little bit of tag with Pikachu. You have to catch him 4 times, and when you're first picking up the game or you're playing it casually, or you're gonna come up on a struggle to try to catch Pikachu here, because if he gets away and you can't find him, you're gonna lose. Oh, I mean, you're gonna be in a struggle to try to get Pikachu. So I'm just triggering all the flags, doing what Professor Oak wants me to do. And this is also when the toolbox comes into play, which is where you can pick up items on the field. Good morning. Key items. Good morning. Key items you keep permanently, and then everything else at the end of the day it'll give you money depending on the item. So in certain segments I'm collecting items for money so that I can hit my 20,100 Poké-Dollars. Here you gotta open up the menu. This is where they tell you about the toolbox, but you give him the cupcake, which in the Japanese version is a rice cake, and here it's a cupcake. So I distance myself a little bit here. You see, like I catch up to him, and then I'll step back just so I can see what he's doing, and I want to, catch up to him as soon as it you don't want to be too close, because then it'll think you haven't caught him. But you want to, there's a certain distance, you want to be away, and then you want to get close enough to where Pikachu will recognize being caught there. The problem is, if he runs behind you, or if the tree gets in your way, or he just completely runs off and you can't find him, you'll be looking all over for Pikachu. And I mean, when I first picked up this game and started speedrunning it, my movement wasn't that good, and I was really struggling to catch Pikachu right away there. But now I've kind of come up with a very, very consistent way of doing it. Okay, I was teaching you how to put things in your inventory, whereas before we were taking something out of it. And at this point in the game, we are coming up on the end of the Discovery Days, which is a shorter category on the leaderboards. Stay at my house. Off the top of my head, it's similar to a Master Sword category in Zelda, or a Boogie percent run in Earthbound. It's just a shorter category for either people who want to learn the game and not want to do the full run, or people that want to brag about their early game. and which is a lot less RNG dependent in this first 30 minutes, where there's going to be a lot of situations later in the run that are extremely heavy RNG, and you can be, playing out of your mind like I have several times, and, be doing everything near perfect on your end, but you just get bad luck, bad RNG, and just like that, you lose several minutes, and good night. It wouldn't be a, legitimate Pokemon game if there wasn't a truck ton of RNG. Pika. So here, now you're able to select what level you go to. All through Discovery Days, you were sort of on this, like, rail, what do they call it? Like rail shooters or rail. It was kind of like a a linear. Okay, this day you're going to this level. Now you can select what level you go to, and you can kind of do these in whatever order you want to at this point. We're gonna do Olivine, Cobalt, and Springleaf. We're gonna start with Springleaf. So we're going to be doing the levels that are faster and are going to give us money and whatnot for our money route. If we go to Ochre 2 there, it's basically like the Picnic 1, and that's definitely the slowest path you can take, so we don't have to do that. We just do the required amount of activities with Pikachu to trigger the flags to get us to the next area of the game. I believe this is called the Play Days, and the final segment is the Daring Days. So here, I'm going to need to buy something in the shop. It doesn't matter what, but that's what we need to do, and it's RNG dependent. So that trumpet is the worst RNG. Sure, and I just got it. Sure. Which is okay, because I know how to get around it, but that cost 1,200 Pokédollars, whereas the Raspberry cost 150, so that puts me down, in my standards, that puts me down about 900 Pokédollars from what I need, so I'm going to need to make up 900 Pokédollars, which is totally fine. I just need to get some extra items now, which is not good, but this will just prove that if I get, this RNG in a marathon run, that I'll be able to shake it off. So here we go on the most notorious part of this speed run, which is the Pinata Party. And this is the most finicky part of this game, as far as there are a lot of things that you can tell Pikachu to do, and it's trying to cycle through what you're telling it. There! Okay, there! We're just gonna go for it all. There! Yeah. Okay, so I absolutely need that, so it's good that I got it. Like I said, I need some extra items, and you can pick up some of these items from the Pinata. I only need to hit 2 Pinatas. There's 3 attempts, so I try to throw the first one, because he spins on these next to you, so it's a bit slow to... Wrong way! Wrong way! Right! No. Left. Right. Left. Left. Right. Right. There. There. Get that beach nut. That's not good either. There. 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 That's exactly why I tried to throw the first one, because that spinning is slow. Yeah, just let him swing. So if you get 2 out of 3 pinatas, you have 3 attempts. 2 out of 3 pinatas. What happens is you'll end up getting the harmonica, and you'll get a trip to Cobalt Island, which triggers the flag, and you need to go to Cobalt Island, and you need to grab 1 treasure chest in order to progress to the next section. I did pick up a balloon there, which puts me up 300. Thunderbolt. Yo. 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 Supposed to be at 300, and I was down at 900, so now I'm down 600 from a 7, so I should be able to have enough if I collect all 10 items on Playground. I might want to double check to make sure I have the right amount of money after I do that, but my math tells me that I'm totally fine, just as long as I max out on items on Playground at this point. The beach nut would have been a little bit more promising, but the balloon gave me an extra 300. The beach nut would have gave me 360. So I'm pretty sure that I'll have enough. The problem is I only get about 240, 250, so that's like 750. Pikachu covers 600 extra. Okay, that'll be fine. Treasure. As long as I collect all 10 items, I'm fine. Treasure. So here right away, we just go ahead and get the treasure chest, and at that point, we're on the in-game timer. We need to drain the in-game clock. Thunder before the day will end. Here, I'm going to look away from Pikachu while he thunders, because lag reduction. Okay, and now I'm going to get all the items on the island, which there are exactly 9. And I grabbed an extra item on the initial cobalt, which will give me 10 at the end of this day, so I'll have a full, you can hold 10 items in your inventory. And you have 2 separate inventories. You have a temporary inventory, and you have the key items inventory. Okay, I didn't want to do that, but that's still fine. The only thing I'm scared about is if Pikachu comes after me and picks up like one of the items I want, like eats the banana, I will be in a bit of trouble. But I don't plan on that happening. If he's carrying around that coin, he's not going to bother you, but now that I grabbed it from him, It posed a bit of a threat. Pikachu. I believe he has the coconut that I need. That's not good. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, no, 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 no. Rip. Okay, now I need extra items on top of what I need more than. I need another 360 now. That's very bad. Pikachu. I had it in my hand and I threw it, but I was mashing A. Pikachu. So here's an instance of he's 3Ping, the game's not going to end. I might as well just let him sleep. I'm on an in-game timer and I need to let some time pass. I do need to make up $360 or Poké Dollars. Wake up. Now on top of the other money I needed, so I'm pretty far behind the money count, thanks to the trumpet, which does not help. So as long as Pikachu's walking around, the day will end on time. If he picks up something, if he sleeps like he is now, starting now until he wakes up, if the day were to end, it's not going to end until I wake him up. Wake up. So it'll probably end right now, yeah, because it should have ended at some point during him walking around. So, like on top of that being a pretty slow pinata and pretty bad, and I also have to make up money later, which is going to lose time later. I'm honestly not entirely sure where I'm going to get it. We're going to figure it out though. There is a backup here in Olivine, like if you miss one of the 5,000, where you can gather up Poliwag to get 5,000. I'm not going to be doing that, because I don't need 5,000, I just need like 400. I might have to do an actual level, which is also totally fine, because that might, you know, give me a buffer where I would need the megaphone to pop up anyway. It's not a big deal overall. I might just go to Springfield 3 and gather some items on an extra day. So here you just need to make the Squirtle, and I'll end this. And then we go to Playground, which I need all 10 items that I can get there. Thanks to the trumpet. I mean, I look at, you know, my money count and where I'm at, and in some cases I'll only need 5 items in Playground. That's like the best case scenario. I only have to pick up 5 items. Here I have to get all 10, and even then I don't have enough money now, because that beach nut flew out in the ocean, and Poliwag, when he went to knock it back in, when it came in, he destroyed the beach nut, so it was gone. Not a big deal. Good night. Because I can make it up here, but yeah, I mean, a lot of time I probably would have raged at the trumpet, but still, like, you still get a decent run with the trumpet. So once again, we have another auto-scroller coming up, which is this Playground. And at this point in the game, it teaches you how to change camera perspectives. So here, now you can do free camera, which is basically like in Zelda, when you see up, you know, you can look around. There, see down, and you can look around, and you can't. It stops you being able to move around, and you can move the camera with the joystick. And then it also tells you how to go into Pikachu cam, which is pretty useless. You you know, as far as the speedrun goes, but like if you like, the one easy does have is if you want to find out where Pikachu is. Pikachu cave. You can just flip on the Pikachu cam and it'll pan right over to where Pikachu is. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Okay, so that light bulb means that he heard me properly and we're good. Now Pikachu's gonna come to where you're zoomed in on the camera, so if you like wander your camera off to the left or the right here, he'll go all the way over to like try to center up with you on the, like, you want to be like, you know, kind of like centered up with the cave here. You don't have, and then, I mean, here, you know, you can argue that maybe that reduces lag, but, you know, not much, if any. Thunderbolt, which is basically his eating animation that you're trying to Thunderbolt get off the screen. So that's not good. I wanted a light bulb. I got the exclamation mark. Thunderbolt. That's okay. We're good. Wait. So I'm just gonna fill up my inventory. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Because basically we're just waiting. Thunderbolt. And while waiting, we're just going to go ahead and collect some items to get the amount of money that we need at the end of the game. If you don't have the amount of money that you need at the end of the game, then you will not trigger the final day to start, and you'll just kind of be stuck there until you get the money. So it is required. It doesn't matter how you get the money, just as long as you have a specific amount. Then you're good. That text box always comes up. It always throws me off because it's like it comes up at the same time every day. It's just like it's so random to me because I'm like collecting items, and it always throws me off, and sometimes I don't hit that text box right away. Here we're looking for Pikachu's sidebars to be up just like this at a specific time on the segment timer, and that's when the day's supposed to end, and it's exactly 2 minutes and like 10 seconds from now. I want to have this happening where the two sidebars of Pikachu are there and he looks at you. If he's doing anything else, the day will not end. That is the only way that the day ends in this level. So yeah, I'm getting out to pick up some extra items. I'm gonna have to make up for about 400. Pick that up. These light bulbs are worth 240, and the potatoes, the popcorn, and the like, I don't know what they're called, dreidels or spindles, something like that. I don't know what it is. It's there's a crate that comes up, and you can thunderbolt that, and then like this, like, you know, Beyblade comes out of it, you know, after he thunderbolts the thing. So yeah, I got a full inventory. Nothing else I can do. The light bulbs are going to be 10 gold less than each, you know, potato or popcorn, which is, popcorn is when you have corn that shows up and you thunderbolt the corn. Pikachu will turn that into popcorn, and then the crates. So, you know, we definitely got a lot of light bulbs there, which cut off some money as well, which is also not good, but I already needed to make up money anyway somehow, so probably just going to do so. So there's the crate, and, you know, I don't know what you're going to call this. Thunderbolt. I call it like a dreidel. Thunderbolt. Should probably use the B button on it to figure out what it actually is. If he doesn't thunderbolt, I mean, this will actually explode. It's probably Thunderbolt. Sometimes it'll explode, and sometimes that'll happen. I don't know why I've never seen him eat the crate and then have it blow. That's really weird. That's a new one for even me. So yeah, I want to have these sidebars up like that, and I want to have them up in about 5 seconds from now. Right now. Okay, I want the sidebars to come back up. No. That's not good. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, okay, so this is all extra time. Because he's not pulling the sidebars up. That's not good. There's really nothing I can do about it. If I call him, he'll like get confused. No idea why he just needs to Thunderbolt or Thunder there. But that whole thing of him walking over there to Thunder was all-time loss. Essentially. Pika. Okay, so maybe I can pick up some extra items here. Pika. I usually don't go for it, but I know I need a bunch, so who knows. I'll probably just come back into Springleaf 3 on a second day here. I'll probably just do this twice. So right away I'm looking for Oddishes that are moving on the screen. So there's only one on the screen, it's up on the hill, and it just moves, so it's a real one. Pikachu. Oddish. 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 So all I need to do here is get him away from a Diglett. I might wander around and see if I can pick up about $500 worth of stuff. If not, I'll have to just do another level. No! That's all you have to do. Now, yeah. I feel like this is a bad level. Should be about enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab, like, what's over here? So, boom, boom. Yeah, that's plenty. Pika. Pika. So normally I would have just completely just left right after the Diglett, but because I needed to make up some money, that's one way to do it. The amount that I needed. If you need 5,000, you'd have to do that like 5 times. That would not be good. So this is one of the most, you know, this has been a huge run killer for me. Getting this Haunter, getting Pikachu to Thunderbolt the Haunter can be a headache. But I have a strat that I found Spin's doing, and I like it. Pikachu. Spin's is a Japanese runner. He runs the Japanese version. Thunderbolt. 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 Okay, so we failed because why not? That's really bad because I think sometimes when that happens, it won't trigger the final day either. So this is a big deal. So right there, you know, Pikachu just is not listening to me, and he decided, you know what, I don't care about you, and Thunderbolting the Haunter. Pikachu. So that's very, very bad. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Okay, that's what we want. Now, I've had it where that's happened to me and then it won't trigger the final day. Hopefully this is not one of those cases. Pika. It's going to be very, very bad. That just means that I'm going to have to go back into there and go to Poliwhirl at the end. If that's the case. This is basically the final execution part of the run. And it's the heaviest execution part of the run. Because I have to feed all the Caterpies into Metapods. Pikachu. Thunderbolt. Okay, we're good. Sometimes I'll pick up a cattail, and that will just ruin your day. Especially since this is the end of the run. Pikachu. Pikachu. You didn't hear me? Thunderbolt. Okay. I mean, he did the thing. So I'm aiming for a specific spot on these trees to get more than one rosebud to fall. It's kind of RNG based. I wanted 3 there, but 2 is totally fine. If I would have just got 1 there, then you would have been having an issue. Then I'm coming back over here to feed them. I want to not have Pikachu notice a hungry Caterpie, so I come over here at this point. That Diglett just knocked away one of the rosebuds. Pikachu, so I might just end up getting an extra one to make up for that. Thunderbolt. Okay, and that one more than likely it'll drop all 4 every time, and that's why I like to come here. So, Caterpies are evolving, they take 3 each to evolve. And I'm just filling up my menu with rosebuds to deliver them. Now, the ones that are not, the ones that are in a, that haven't blossomed yet, you have to throw at an arch. So now I don't want to call Pikachu until that blue one's done feasting. I'm actually just going to avoid calling Pikachu altogether. And grab this. So he didn't notice a blue Caterpie, which is good. So this one's feed. That went decent. I didn't lose much time. Considering I think one of the Digletts popped away one of the rosebuds and I only got 2 to spawn instead of 3 on the second tree. It was a pretty decent breeding too. So yeah, I mean, there's 5 Caterpies, you want them all to become Metapods, and that will end the day sooner than waiting. We used to think, you know, they used to be thought that it was a side-scroller, and you had to wait, and just like Viridian 1, but you're able to feed all the Caterpies there. So now we're trying to get the Megaphone. I'm going to keep entering fishing and leaving fishing until we get Megaphone. Pikachu. This is a complete RNG chance. and it goes from 12.5% on the first day, and it keeps adding 12.5% of your chance each day. So that was a 25% chance. We missed it. Next one's going to be a 37.25% chance. As soon as the text comes up, you can leave those days, and we're just gonna keep doing that until we finally get the megaphone. So we'll see what happens. And if I've done everything correctly after the megaphone, so we got third try megaphone. That's not bad. It's like, you know, average. But if I've done everything correctly, after this megaphone segment, it will go into the telescope segment. If I failed that, either of two things. Either one, I don't have enough money, which I'm pretty sure we're good on after I got all that stuff, or two, something happened in Olivine 2 that might have been like Pikachu getting startled by a Haunter that might have threw it off. That's a possibility. So here, the louder you speak on the megaphone, the bigger the bubble, but I like to just spam things as quickly as possible. Yo! 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 So if I get that cutscene, it's good. Yo! 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 That was very good, actually. It was very, very good. So that you just completely miss, and then you'll have to hit him more times than that. Like the fastest, like you can hit him 3 times, and it'll be done. But that usually triggers 2 or 3 cutscenes each, and that one only triggered like 1 cutscene, I believe. And you know, it didn't take. It took me like 4 hits or 4 or 5 hits with the bubble. That was really good. So now the telescope should trigger. If not, okay, it did. So that means we've done everything correctly, and we've triggered all the flags, and this is the end of the game. So that's good. You know, I know what I'm doing. Worst case scenario, basically what will happen is you won't get this to happen. And you'll be like, what did I mess up? And then that's when you first check how much money you have, and then after that you're like, okay, it was either something to do with Olivine 2, and if that's not it, it was in Springfield 3, and we definitely know I went to Viridian and fed all the Caterpies, so I never bother there, but I check those locations first. So now we're on a completely RNG segment. The only thing you can do here is try to reduce lag by looking at the floor, and you could just follow around Pikachu, but you're going to get the maximum amount of frames and lag. If you just look at the floor, you know, the game will run, you know, as fast as it can here. And basically what's happening is Pikachu is trying to get to this location that I'm at here. There's 3 screens, and right here, there's like on each screen there's something he always does. There's no avoiding it. So this screen, he has to talk to Charmander. He has to wave to Charmander. Other than that, everything is RNG based. Where the Oddishes are, and if there's a strange radish, he'll always 100% go for it if it's in his path. And everything else, you have a chance that he might walk past it or might pick it up. If he picks up a strawberry, if he picks up a sunflower, each of those will cost 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, because he will pick it up, he'll walk around aimlessly with either the strawberry or the sunflower. He'll walk around aimlessly for a while, and then he'll fall asleep with it, and then you can't, like, in this mode of the game, you cannot speak to Pikachu. You have an X on your mic, and you're just, like, hiding in a box, apparently, and just watching Pikachu. So it's 100% RNG at this part of the game, what's happening, and, you know, at this point, all I do is just go into the corner and wait, try to reduce as much lag as possible, and I just pretty much listen to what Pikachu's doing. Right now I know he's dealing with a Diglett, and he noticed it. If he notices the Diglett, you know, I would say it's about 5 seconds faster than if he trips on the Diglett. What'll happen is if the Diglett comes up, he will trip on it, he'll stumble, he'll fall over, he'll have to get back up. If he runs into an Oddish after the Oddish, and that was really good. That's a solid first screen, and here on this screen he has to Thunderbolt those two Peaches and then eat them, and then he runs over to Bulbasaur, and then after he runs over to Bulbasaur, Bulbasaur will direct him to, and he'll run over here to this location. But that was a pretty good first screen. On this screen, you know, you'll hear, and you can hear Pikachu thunderbolting and eating the two Peaches, and then you'll hear Bulbasaur call over Pikachu. Other than that, everything that happens on top of that is bad RNG. Like I said, if he runs into an Oddish, the good thing about the Oddish is after he's done being distracted and standing around with an Oddish, he'll run. He'll actually run for a little bit, which is, you know, the upside of that. And sometimes he'll run past things that are worse, like, you know, Strawberry and Sunflower are the two biggest threats at this point. But there's a lot of other little things that just add up 10 seconds here, add up 20 seconds there, add up, you know, and next thing you know, you've lost 2 minutes just to a bunch of stuff. My estimate for the marathon run is absolutely under sub 120. There's no possible way that this will take me over an hour and 20 minutes. So that's a very generous, very safe estimate. That, like, for it to even come close to over 120 is if I miss the fishing flag and I miss, like, the Viridian gym or something like that, and then I have to make up like 10,000 Pokédollars. That's going to cost a good amount of time, but it's only going to be like 4 minutes. It's only going to be like, let me think, like 3 minutes apiece of time loss, and you know, I should be right around the 110 mark pretty consistently. So if I lose that, okay, I might have like a 118 or something, but the estimate's going to be, you know, 120, and it's a very safe estimate. It'll be a very, very interesting run, and it'd be very intriguing how this would play out, you know, at an AGDQ, at, you know, a live marathon event. And I would definitely bring the hype, the rolling deep hype. This screen's not going so well in particular. If he's talking to Bulbasaur, that's good, but it wasn't that bad. Those first two screens were totally fine. I'd take those in a run any day. Here, he has to Thunderbolt the Haunter, and then he needs to say hi to the Squirtle. Those two things are mandatory. Other than that, once again, everything else that happens is RNG, bad RNG. If those are the only two things he does, and like he goes straight, if he just keeps walking and maybe a Diglett shows up and he notices it, that's not a bad thing, because a lot of times the Diglets will save you. As far as, if, like right now a Diglett just popped up, he might be walking past like a mushroom, or he might be walking past a flower, or, you know, a strawberry or a sunflower, or, you know, a wild herb or something. He might be walking past that and getting away from that, which would be worse than what the Diglett's going to do. So right now he's talking to the Squirtle, which is very good. That, I mean, that means this looks like a very good telescope. But yeah, I mean, this is the end of the run, and basically it's going to take anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes for this segment, depending on RNG. We're looking like we might be hitting on the low end of like an 8-minute. Probably 9-minute telescope. But I hear he's walking around with what I think is a sunflower. Yep. So, I mean, just to give you an example, just to show you, he just picked up a sunflower. Now he's walking aimlessly. If he doesn't have a sunflower or a strawberry, he'll always, like, he'll get distracted, but he'll always be on a linear path. Here, he's walking around aimlessly, and this happens for, like, 30 to 40 seconds, and then he falls asleep with it. Right? So, after he's walking the complete opposite way that he needs to go, he'll go over here, and he'll fall asleep with it. Right? That goes on. So this is a 1.5 time loss to 2 minute, a 1.5 to 2 minute time loss for him picking this up. So never mind the 9-minute hype that I thought we were gonna have. Telescope. So and then he'll like fondle it, and then he'll eat it, and then finally he'll remember he needs to buy the telescope. So all that was time lost. And then he's got a Diglett that shows up immediately after and forces him to go the wrong direction. So, I mean, like, the strawberries and the sunflower, they're just nothing but bad news. And so now he's finally walking in the right direction. But that Diglett, because it QE'd up, like, right after the sunflower, like, he was facing the wrong direction. And so that put him in the wrong direction. And, that, I mean, it just spells bad news. I mean, there's so many bad things that can happen with a sunflower and a strawberry. And this is the reason why, you know, it's been taking me a while to get the desired time, because I keep having really good runs, and then I'll get to the megaphone and telescope segments, and I'll fall apart. So it looks like we're going to be ending it right here. You walk straight to the end, which is good. So, I mean, that wasn't, like, too terribly awful, but the sunflower definitely cost a 1.5 minutes. So here he just buys the telescope. It costs 200,000. For some odd reason, you need to have an extra 100. I'm not sure what that's about, but you do need to have 20,100 for this data to get triggered. And at this point, this is the end of the run. Pikachu looks into the telescope, looks away, looks outside, and he decides he wants to. Well, I don't know. I mean, this is like, you know, make your own theory, but like, Pikachu basically decides, okay, there's more out there than what's here. I'm gonna, you know, go out and, you know, I'm gonna do my own thing, and. But you do end up saying goodbye to Pikachu, so you kind of tell him, you know, okay, I'm done with you, so that's it. I mean, that's hey you Pikachu, pretty much. Pika. So now all I have to do is say goodbye to Pikachu. Solid. Solid, like, marathon attempt, giving that, like, I got the telescope, which is the worst RNG in Springleaf, and then I had a pretty awful Cobalt on top of a sunflower there, and still easily going to be well under 120. And this was honestly, like, I expect, for the most part, better luck than this. Thank you. Goodbye. It's the saddest thing ever in any good video game. At the end here, you have an option to call him an electric rat and saves 5 seconds, or say goodbye. And that would be a great donation incentive as well. That's probably what I'm going to include. Which basically, you can say your farewell. You can, you know, say goodbye, and leave on a good note, or you can say, you know, get out of here, Pikachu. Sort of like, you know, save and kill the animals. It's just that sort of a thing. Goodbye. Goodbye. So we actually didn't hear that. Well, the first one didn't register. I'm not used to that one not registering. So here I can call him an electric rat or say goodbye. We're just going to go ahead and say goodbye. It's not a, you know, goodbye. We'll lose the, what is it, like 15 frames? The 20 frames. So he waves goodbye. On the other one, he just walks away very sadly. So that'd be a solid donation incentive, and we can have that met by the end of the run. But that was Hey You Pikachu with the green mixtape. And by the way, you know, when I picked this game up, the world record was 1 hour and 14 minutes and 46 seconds. So for me to have a run like that, with as many mistakes that happen, is pretty incredible. And yeah, I'm excited to hopefully get this in a marathon, and I think it would go over pretty well. And it's you know, it's an obscure run that and it's definitely never been in a major marathon event. It's been in a few, but it hasn't been in a at an AGDQ yet. So hopefully we can get one in. I'd love to be there. I would have a very exciting couch and a very it'd be an interesting run for sure. So hopefully it gets in. Let the credits play out, and that's it. I will give a shout out to Spins372, I believe. I just call him Spins. Shout outs to Ten Dog. Shout outs to everyone in the Hey You Pikachu community. Let's go over that list. And here at the end, basically, you'll have like flashbacks of when Pikachu was here. Then he'll just show back up. So it's kind of like, it's a very sad like ending, and then kind of like, okay, he's back. So, but that's pretty much Hey You Pikachu. And there's a Discord for Hey You Pikachu speedrunning, so if you're interested in speedrunning it, definitely hop on in there, say hello. If you've got any questions, there's plenty of answers. Go over the list real quick. Spin72, Ten Dog, Sasasa, Punda, Dunwacky, Enu, Hayafo, Jinbenso, Davachu, Slowpoke is a gamer, Ness, Kamikaze, and Beagle, all part of the Hey You Pikachu community. And that is Hey You Pikachu, so please allow me to run it for the marathon.